Hey guys, welcome back to Displacement Garage. Today we're going to be doing a tear down of an LS engine. This one is the 5.3. This engine is out of a 2001 Chevy Tahoe. It had approximately 182,000 miles on it at the time of being sold. The reason that it was being sold is because the person that had this motor was wanting to do an upgrade on the engine size that they currently had. So they're going to a bigger LS engine. And this is exactly the engine that I want to start out with doing a build. So that was perfect for us. The seller said that the only thing wrong with it was the rear main seal. So we will learn about that as we get to it. And a little bit about today's video. Today we're just going to be tearing down this engine. There's no really, how-to manual for us doing this for you guys to learn from. The only thing that I'll say is this is a brand new experience for me. I've never taken apart any engine before. So my order of operations is going to be simply clean as much as I can to get to the next part. I'm working smallest to largest, working from the outside to the inside, and just seeing what comes apart. That is pretty much exactly what we're going to do. If you need a professional how to take apart an LS engine video, I probably wouldn't take too much advice or wisdom from this. You can maybe see a couple places where we could have done stuff easier. But overall, this is just me having fun in the shop, doing what we love, hanging out and talking and chilling in the shop, doing something together. Hasty's going to be cleaning up the shop and putting together a couple Christmas presents that he got from me. And then I'm just going to be working on this. About the car that this is going to go into, it's going to go into a me year. So what I mean by that is it's a 1991, which so am I. And we're going to put that into a 1991 Nissan 300ZX. I have already had a Nissan 370Z, which was a lot of fun. It was a great learning car. And the 300ZX is just another one of those cars that's on my list of cars to own. The only downside to those cars out of the gate is they have a huge V6 engine. They are not really that great to work on because they are so big. They take up the whole engine bay. But also, they just have a lot of faults just from the factory. They're not really that great of engines to work on. That's why you don't see a whole lot of people with them, which was also a little bit of the appeal for me. I kind of wanted to do something that not a lot of people are going to do, which was a lot of fun. However, everybody does an LS swap. So it's having that fun looking car with the Lambo lights and all the 90s glory going on. I love all that, but for the engine, it had to have been an LS to go in here. It couldn't have been more perfect for the car, but also financially and power adding, it just makes the most sense to do it. That's why so many people do it. There's kits from eBay and Amazon. There's kits from Holly. I mean, if you want to put, $100 into this thing, just get the mounts and throw it in. If you want to go through and build something, they have kits up to like $3,000 to do a full rebuild with cams and everything. So really, this is user-friendly for everybody, whether you're a brand new person getting into building an engine like me, or if you guys have done it before. You guys could take apart more pieces and add more power to different spots in the engine. There's so many different levels of this engine. That's something that I really enjoyed whenever I was looking for, an engine to swap in there. This just makes the most sense. And I think it does for a lot of people and a lot of vehicles. Couple questions for you guys. I pick up the camera a few times and I'm trying to let you guys see what bolts are actually coming off instead of having the camera set far away. Do you guys like being able to see exactly what I'm taking off, or would you prefer just to be in the room and hanging out? Not that you still can't see what I'm doing, but obviously this is a little bit more clear. I think the only downside is sometimes whenever I'm watching videos like that, it kind of makes me like seasick feeling. Seeing all that motion go back and forth, it's like, oh my gosh, just sit me somewhere. So if you guys would let me know in the comments, that would be so helpful. If you guys would rather be stationary or if you guys like to be moving. My next question for you all is, during this video, there's a lot going on, obviously. There's power tools, there's clanking of metals, there's cleaning happening, the fire is going. There's a lot of additional noises. Would you guys rather hear all of that and me talk while we're doing something, or do you care about the voiceover? Because this way you guys are getting clear audio, but you guys aren't in the moment and hearing what we're talking about. So you could also comment as well. You could say voiceover or in the moment, and that would let me know exactly what you guys think. Something that you guys will notice going through pretty much any car video ever, but for ours, I'm switching back and forth between power tools and a breaker bar, like 99.9% of everybody does, obviously. But my question is, how can I get better at using power tools? Because the breaker bar is my safety tool. It is ratcheting. It has enough torque where I can get pretty much anything broken free without having to ask for any assistance, which I love. But switching back and forth between that and a power tool drives me nuts. I think the biggest thing right now is a lot of my power tools are not going to have enough torque to break free. Stuff that's been stuck on for, like 15 to 20 years. So I hate having to do that back and forth in between the breaker bar and power tools to break things free. I would rather just stick with one tool the whole time, even if it's a hand tool. I don't like switching back and forth. I think I know about a $300 way I could fix that, and it was some stuff I saw at Harbor Freight the other day, but 1,650 foot-pounds of torque sounds a lot better than everything that we went through taking some of these rusted bolts out. But by the time this video is up, I've probably gotten them all free. Oh yeah, look at those muscles. Get it, girl. Are you allowed to hype up your own video? Probably not. I'm doing it anyways. These were not that bad. Whenever I get to the head bolts, whew, rest in peace. Also, I'm sure you guys have noticed, but my right sleeve has been up 99.9% of the video, and I think it does remain up the entire time. So if you guys were working in the shop with me, how long would you let my sleeve stay like that? Because honestly, I did not notice and I did not care. But I think watching back the video, I'm like, man, why could I not just flip that down? My plans for this engine are pretty much going to be just clean it up and get it to run as good as we can. Replace things that are already going to need basic maintenance at 182,000 miles. So that way I can do it outside of a vehicle before I have to install everything back in. I do want to have this running by spring, which is laughable because I think every single person right now that is sitting in winter mode thinks that their stuff is going to be running by spring. But also, I've spread myself a little too thin here, to be quite honest with you, because I'm also working on my Mustang as well. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm probably just going to be a statistic as another person that didn't get their project car done by spring. So you guys stay tuned for that. Here comes Hasty to check out those muscles. Just kidding. He's probably checking out the rust or telling me to use power tools. There's a 50-50 shot there. Plans for the car in general are going to be, I would really like to try it at autocross and see, what I can do there. And my other plan is I would really love to be able to drift. I've always been fascinated with it, and I think, every single person that's in the car community has probably been fascinated with it at one time or another. But something about this car just feels right. It just feels like now's my time to try that out. I've always wanted to, and that is a long-term goal to try. So we're going to see if we can make that happen in 2025. There is something you guys should know about me. That is, if there's something I want to try or do, I'm not going to sit there and wonder, I wonder what if I did that. What would have happened? I'm just going to go out there and try. That's something I do like a lot about myself is I am willing to be embarrassed and be bad at something. But if you're never willing to get out there and be embarrassed and try something new, you'll never get good at anything. So you guys that are thinking about starting a new project, a new YouTube channel, a new whatever. Get out there and try. You never know what the end result could have been if you never get out there and try. So that's something I want you guys to be motivated with and going into 2025. This could definitely be your year to try something new. And whenever you figure out what that new thing is that you want to try, or if you've already thought of something and you're trying it, tag us in your video. We would love to see it. We would love to do maybe like a duet or share some comments and things back on your video. We love watching all the YouTube creators, which is a lot of fun. And we also like looking at a lot of the TikTok fails and things like that. So, YouTube and TikTok are pretty much always on at our house. We're always learning from people online. And we would love to see what you guys are planning on accomplishing in 2025. What new thing are you looking forward to? After I get this bolt off and then we start looking at the exhaust manifold, it does look like it was cracked in the center to me. I'm not sure if these were supposed to be split into two pieces or not, but that definitely does not look right for me for a factory situation. So I am looking forward to a new exhaust system. I think that's going to make a huge difference as far as if this had an exhaust leak, but also looking at a couple spots on here, there was some rust and it looked like a lot of it wasn't connected all the way down. So I do think it was having oil go into the exhaust at some point, which ain't that great. Even if that wasn't happening, there was no way it didn't have an exhaust leak. You guys can kind of see the coloration on what's remaining on the engine right now from that gasket, and you can definitely see some dark lines in between there. Removing the valve covers, it looked pretty much exactly what I thought this was going to look like. It's an engine from 2001. It looks like it's been decently maintained, but I don't know that it's seen a whole lot of love. In this engine's new life, it's going to see a lot of love and a lot of TLC. That is definitely something that we are going to do for this engine and the car in general. So not a huge deal. Looking forward to learning how to clean these properly. And the biggest thing that I'm going to do on here is clean surface, but I'm not going to do a whole lot around the gaskets until I look up something online just to verify how I should do that, because I don't know if I should have everything remachined or not. And then I'm also looking into replacement pieces in general. So I'm not sure, what the best course of action is, if I need to have, everything professionally cleaned, or if I need to have things just purchased right out. So that's going to be a learning curve too. Everything on the front of this engine after this point just reeks. It is just so disgusting. I don't know if it was the sealant and things that they were using on there, but the water pump and things were definitely very disgusting. In my opinion, worse smelling than burn up transmission fluid. Yep, it was that bad. If you guys are doing something like this by yourselves and you don't have the extra set of hands to help you guys lift different pieces off of the engine, what I was personally thinking of doing was getting the engine hoist and hooking up a different bolt to each piece and just remaining some tension on the piece while I'm removing it. So that way, you can do it totally by yourself. You don't have to have anybody, there to help you guys. The engine hoist is definitely something I would use for the head specifically. The water pump and assembly and things like that weren't too bad. But definitely the heads, you're going to need an extra set of hands, or at least an extra set of engine hoist to help you with that additional weight, because safety is definitely key whenever you're working by yourself. You definitely want to make sure that you're taking care of you and don't overdo it. And this is hard to say because I am somebody that will overdo it. It is hard for me to ask for assistance, and it is hard for me to ask for help. I would rather struggle through a lot of it than ask for help. So anytime I ask Hasty, he is very nice to me because he knows it was difficult for me to ask. Spark plugs overall weren't too bad. There were a lot of dark tips, but that's to be expected from this whole scenario, especially how the engine looks and things. It's definitely, not a huge shocker to me that that's what they look like. Hasty's going to be building one part of his Christmas present, so he got a new shop stool. I got one that has wheels. That's the Icon blue rolling one, and he wanted one for the welding table or shop table, so we got him one of the bar stool higher ones, so that's going to be super exciting for him to use. And everything in our shop is split pretty much right down the middle. We have half blue, half green, pretty much everything. The only thing that we don't have that is in the blue and green is going to be things for the engine stand and engine hoist. I think everything else is blue or green. So if you guys get bored in a second of watching me tear down this engine, if you guys just pan left a little bit, you guys can watch chair building. Look at me using power tools. You guys should be impressed because I do not like using them. Look at me having to use it as a wrench and then use it as a ratchet. Very cute. Where is that comfort of that breaker bar that ratchets whenever you need it? You know what I'm saying? I want my comfort tool back. Engine mount's coming off like a dream. I did not realize there was not that much bolt actually going into the engine. Surprising that is, able to take some bounces and hits in life and remain attached to the actual engine and to the car. That was astonishing to me. After I scrape all this off, I'm learning that there are more bolts on top of the engine. I did not realize that it had more than just 2 on each side of that, which is pretty obvious it would have more to keep a good connection, but looking at it, I did not see it because it was so caked on with dirt and grime. That is pretty wild. If I had to go back in time and redo this, what I would have done is remove everything from the inside of the head. I did not realize that all that came out. I thought all of that was connected to the head. Now, mind you, I have not watched any kind of tutorial. We're just doing this freestyle. I'm just going in and seeing what needs to be removed next. So you are going to go in as a professional because you know better now. You're going to go in and remove those 8 bolts on the inside, and then also the 5 huge bolts underneath that rail. You're going to take those off after that. Then you're going to remove your head bolts. That is going to make your life so much easier. That's what we did on the second side. But for this side, we are learning. Look at me struggling with this darn cobalt tool. Where is that breaker bar when you need it? I'm telling you, I would much rather just use it. I need some real power tools, some stuff with some torque. I'm telling you, that little $300 scenario at Harbor Freight is looking better by the second. Hasty's going to come by and say, why don't you use some of the bigger power tools? And I'm going to give it a go, and then you're going to see it not work, and then I'm right back to my little safety blanket breaker bar. Also, shout out to Hasty for being able to be patient with me because I know it is not fun watching me sit here and struggle 15 different ways. And I know he wants to jump in and help, but he is letting me struggle it out on my own because that is what I want. So kudos to you for being patient with me because I am struggling watching myself on film now, going through all these different tools, and you are so patient. So I appreciate you. When the power tools fail, the breaker bar comes back out, baby. Back to the serious voice. After removing everything on the inside of the head, we actually get that entire piece removed. But for right now, you're not going to see that happen. We just fast forward through this next section because it didn't record. So that is what it looks like if you did it right the first time. The second side, we are going to do correct. Laid everything out in order so that way it can go back in the same order or it can have replacement parts ordered. I'm a pro at this point. Let's get it going. We've got everything coming off smoothly. Well, as smooth as possible. It was a struggle to get some of these bolts to break for me, but we're getting it. Just barely. My goodness. Who needs a gym whenever you have a shop? You know what I'm saying? Getting a little pump in. Oh, yeah. This time I think everything does work out as far as switching to the power tools at this point. I think everything comes off smooth. And then we're able to remove that entire other section of the engine. And then I think we pretty much clean up and call it a day. If you guys are around Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you guys can follow us on all those at Displacement Garage. We are hoping to have our website launched soon, so stay tuned for that, probably around February, I would say. We hope you guys all got the car parts you wanted from Santa this holiday season, and also wishing you guys a happy and healthy 2025 ahead. It's going to be a big year. I don't know if you guys heard or not, but the animal of the year is actually going to be Banshee, the 300ZX LS Swap Champion. Just kidding. I think it's the year of the snake. But, ooh, Super Snake Swap. Oh, I wish we had the funding for that. We look forward to seeing you guys again soon, and I hope you guys are enjoying hanging out in the shop with us. This is something that we love, so I love that we're able to share that with you all. Thank you again so much for your love and support and your kind words. It truly means the world to us. We'll see you guys again soon. Bye.